All right. Islam, everyone. Great, great. That's good. We are going to get the class started. All right. Before I start the class, actually, the discussion that we're going to have today, we always start the class by reading chapter 25 of the Holy Quran, Circle 7, divinely prepared by Prophet Noble Jew Ali. I'm going to read chapter 25, and if you are in agreement, confirm by saying Islam after I read. All right. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers and sisters, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him out. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole nation, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam, all right. This is the third week that we will be talking about what to do, or actually it's the final call series, and it's entitled What to Do When the Department of Child and, what is it? ACS, the Department of, what is it? Department of Family Services, Department of Unfamily Services. If you were here last week, you got a little bit of reference in terms of how they were started. How many people was here last week? All right. How many did some research? Well, let me say this. No sound. What the heck? How many people have done a little bit of researching to determine additional information about this particular department? Did anybody? Say that again? Oh, you did? Oh, well, what was your experience like? I mean, what kind of experience did you have with them?
It was a horrible experience.
Wow.
It was more like they coerced. They were giving out wrong information. And it was all about separation.
Right. Wow. So was it, whose child was involved?
My daughter.
How were they trying to separate the child from the parent or from the mother?
Well, it was the mother.
Uh-huh.
So they said they had to begin before we expected a child from her. I wasn't involved.
All right.
So they told me once that they went from one ABCS department.
Mm-hmm.
Moved to the next ABCS department.
All right.
All right. It was like more like how they have like a criminal court, like indicted.
Yeah. Who was trying to indict who?
Well, ACS trying to get at my daughter's mother. And they like, well, whatever you may have.
They were trying to use you to...
They manipulated the situation. And then when I got involved, at the end, they were trying to flip whatever it was.
All right.
Going through something.
All right. So it sounds like, is it just me? Are you hearing any care and concern for the child?
No.
No. It was initially they were trying to get the son to testify against the mother, and then they switched it and tried to get the mother to testify against the son. Did you hear that? Can somebody please call in and tell me if you're getting sound? because I'm getting sound over Skype, but I'm getting a text message that says there's no sound going over the air. How many people know the Blog Talk number? Let me just. All right. I'm hearing it over the internet, but I got a text that there's no sound going over the phone, but I'm over the phone. You hear me? All right. All right. Good. All right. All righty. Did you find that it was interesting, or did you even think it was strange that you had a complete stranger poking in the affairs of you and your family? Did you ever think?
Yeah, it was on about 3 years.
3 years. Wow. How many other people have know about or maybe have had encounters with this so-called DCF? Anybody else? Nobody else? Well, I can tell you, years ago, I had an issue when one of my daughters was young, and I didn't. Who's got their phone on? All right. One of the things that irked me was not the fact that you had a complete stranger coming and asking you questions about your family. That was so far down my list because in my mind, they were just not even relevant. That's where, I don't know, that was before I even came into this information. All right? And I remember being pissed because my daughter, who is very creative with stories, went to school and was telling the teacher, and this was preschool now, telling the preschool teacher something, and this was my third daughter, so I had two other daughters go to the same classroom dealing with this same teacher, and he doesn't say anything to me about, you know what I mean? I mean, like, just immediately they treat you as though, oh, well, she's definitely abusing the child, so let me just call, right? Don't bother to ask the mother, the grown mother, okay, because if you have a child, you got a little bit of grownness in you. Even if you're young, you got a little bit of grownness, right? After you have a child, you have a little bit of grownness in you, right? So you would think that they would just have the decency to ask, but they didn't. That's what pissed me that's what pissed me off. And then, and I'll tell you, I'm one of those people, you cut me once and that's it, all right? So before the cut, we was, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. How's the family? After the cut, I don't even see you. and then after a couple of days of that treatment, he's going to come up to me because it was a male teacher. He's going to come up to me with, I apologize, but this is the procedure and we have to follow it and blah, blah. I just talk to the hands. I don't even see you. I never engaged with them again because that's how I am. Once you show me that you ain't got no problem cutting me, I ain't interacting with you ever again. It's not personal. It's just that you showed me how you operate, and I don't want to be a part of that. So it's done. So then the DCS people come to my house, and they act like, well, we're gonna sit down and have a questioning session. So the minute they come through the door, my attitude is like right up here. That's my attitude, and it ain't necessarily to them. It's to my daughter, because in my family, what happens in the house stays in the house. You don't air your private business. You don't air family business. I'm not with all of this reality show bull crap where everybody is just airing their dirty, funky, nasty business. I'm not with that. That's not entertainment. That looks, to me, disgusting to us as a family, because that's not the venue you should be airing family differences. That's just how I feel. And to me, it's very childish. You don't go on a national venue and air your dirty laundry rather than picking up the phone and having a conversation with your family member. That's super childish. No amount of money can make me participate in that, right? So when these people came to my house, they wanted to know if I had prepared my daughter. I said, no. You said she made an accusation. You sit down there and you talk to her and you let her tell you what happened. So immediately from my tone and my posture and everything, they know I'm not the one. I ain't afraid of you, and at that point, I'm so pissed with my daughter, I'm ready to tell them, take her ass. Because I don't need nobody, not even the child I gave birth to, taking sides against the family. Take her ass. That's where I was at. So they sized up the situation. I can't tell you what they asked her, what they said, but I answered 0 questions, and they was in and out and never heard from them again. Now, you might say that probably could have been energy. I don't know. That's just where I was. I don't know, maybe it's a generation thing, because I see the younger generation, they're just letting these people walk all over them. I mean, I've never heard of people coming up to you, complete strangers, and asking you a question and you just give it up without even asking, well, who are you? Well, what do you want the information for? You know, I don't know nothing. I'm telling you, I didn't know nothing about the Constitution, but if you come and ask me a question, I don't care who you are, I want to know why. That's just where I am. I don't understand people who just give us information today. I don't know where that mentality is coming from. I'm not familiar with it at all. So, to protect ourselves, we have to get on a super informing of self, because nobody's going to inform you. If you're waiting for somebody to come and knock on your door and say, here, I'm here to tell you all the ins and outs of how you can protect yourself from a complete stranger, that's never going to happen. There's never, ever, ever going to be a knock at the door that's going to tell you that. You have got to inform and, you know, and make yourself prepared. Nobody can do it for you. So one of the ways that I have found the best way is that American Constitution, 1791. That piece of documentation is so hot. Our ancestors really put their foot in that one. And if more of us understood what that document is saying, the whole spirit of it, we would not be in this situation that we're in now. There's no way, if we really understood what that document does, not just for us, but everybody. This is supposed to be the land of the free, home of the brave, right? So where's the freedom and where are my braves? Right? Braves is not just sons now. Braves is sisters, mothers, too. We're supposed to be a bunch of brave people. But most of us are running around here with a lot of fear. But we got to overcome that fear. And the only way to overcome fear that I know is if you study and if you arm yourself with information. Now, I talked about the American Constitution, 1791, and the next, attached to that American Constitution, 1791, is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. You got to understand. How many people understand what the Treaty of Peace and Friendship and the American Constitution, 1791, did? How many people understand it? How many people get the spirit of it? What do you tell me what you think it does? Mm-hmm. All right. Anybody else? I saw some other hands. Who said something? Did somebody else have their hand up over here? All right. What else? What do you think? Mm-hmm. Right. All right. And I so wish I had my board and my magic marker, but I don't. But so I'm gonna try and visually draw that. That is excellent. Both of those answers were excellent. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship and the American Constitution, it sort of like creates an interchange between two nations. Thank you. I hope we can find a magic marker. It creates a venue for two nations to exchange or have intercourse. But here's the thing. Before you can have the exchange between the two, you have to first establish the nation, right? Now, what's really interesting is when you look at the history, nobody ever talks about who is this other government. Now, in 2012, Hillary Clinton in the Benjamin Franklin room talked about, where did I leave my phone? Talked about, I hope I didn't disconnect. Yikes. Okay, so far, no. She talks about, great, all right. She talks about how Morocco was the first nation, the first nation to recognize the United States of America as a nation, right? Now, she says that. Now, where do you think, did she say Morocco or did she say the Kingdom of Morocco? She said Morocco. Now, a lot of people think that Morocco, or I should say, a lot of people think that the Kingdom of Morocco is what she's talking about. But she didn't say the Kingdom of Morocco. You know what else? You know what else? The United States of America was established in what year? Officially. 1791 is when the Constitution was ratified. But the United States of America, back up. 1770, I want to say 1776. It was at the start of the Articles of Confederation, I believe. Actually, it was between the Articles of Association, which is 1774, and then with the Articles of Confederation, which was 1776, I believe. 1776, is that correct? So what? Yeah, but I'm trying to remember because you had the Declaration of Independence. That's 1776, right? And then they officially, a lot of them officially signed on to the American Constitution in 1777. But thank you so much. But prior to the Articles of Confederation, they did the Articles of Confederation, and then it's either the Articles of Confederation or the or the Declaration of Independence. They could be the same year. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But because I'm thinking if they changed their allegiance in 1776, then they couldn't have signed on to the Articles of Association the same year because I'm sorry, not association, Articles of Confederation. Thank you. All right. So the Articles of The Articles of Association took place in 74. Then you had the Declaration of Independence, right? And then you had the Articles of Association. Now, the Articles of Confederation, the Articles of Association let you know that they have an intent to change their allegiance, right? And then they changed it, and then they had to join the Confederation for protection. And then there was the treaty between the modern Europeans and the Aboriginal indigenous people of this land. Who were those people? But do you see them documented in either the treaty? Well, they're in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Now look at that, because in the treaty, right? Now, isn't it interesting that they talk about Hillary Clinton? Wow, Hillary Clinton. What did she say? That it was Morocco, right? Morocco in 1776 to first recognize what? The United States of America, right? And then, in order for them to have a venue for interchange here, you had the 1786 Treaty of Peace and Friendship. All right? Who was this treaty with? Because here we have Hillary Clinton in 2012 talking about Morocco, right? Then we have in 1786 in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship that establishes the intercourse between the modern Europeans and the Aboriginal indigenous people here. What were those people called? Moors. Here we go. Here's your connection to Morocco and Moors. So now what does this document do? This document, you have the treaty, right? Now you can't get to peace until first you have a change of allegiance. Right? So now, in the changing of this allegiance now, we have documentation that in 1780, Great Britain still had not acknowledged their independence. But it definitely was acknowledged by 1786, or we wouldn't have been able to enter into a treaty of peace and friendship with them, right? Now, if we couldn't enter into a treaty of peace and friendship with them, could they stay here? No. But because we could enter into a treaty of peace and friendship with them, it then went into the American Constitution of 1791, ratified. And here is our triangle. It's like these two documents create a bridge for the modern Europeans and the Moors to have interchange. Without this, there can be no interchange, right? Now, because you have two nations existing within the same space at the same time, there must be rules of engagement, correct? In addition to the American Constitution, Treaty of Peace and Friendship, you got the rights of indigenous people. What does that have to do with the child and unfamily services? Well, in Article, let me think. In Article 7, it states indigenous individuals have the right to life, physical and mental integrity, liberty, and security of person. That's Section 1. Section 2 reads, indigenous peoples have the collective right to live in freedom, peace, and security, distinct people, and shall not be subjected to any act of genocide or any other act of violence, including forcibly removing children of the group to another group. That's Article 7 of the Rights of Indigenous People. Now, because you have these two nations existing side by side with on the same American soil, because this is not English soil and this is not British soil. So because it is American soil, who would be the superior in this relationship? More. But we brought them into this government proper, the American Constitution, that most of our people think was written by modern Europeans for modern Europeans, which in truth was written by the Aboriginal indigenous people here, called the Law of the Great Peace, precursor to the American Constitution, 1791. All right, adopted. That's why they say it's adopted. All right, because you got these two nations, it automatically makes any issue international, because you have this nation, and they must have interchange, intercourse, thereby being international. So international is not far away. International speaks to how are these two nations who are different exchanging. That's what international means. People think that they got to cross the Great Atlantic or the Great Pacific in order to have international affairs. We got international affairs going on right here. And we need to recognize that, and we need to know it, because that's how we're going to be able to operate. So we have the American Constitution, we have the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, we have the rights of indigenous people. What's missing? More information. More information so that everybody can protect themselves and their families. And in order for us to be able to protect our families, we need copious amounts of information, because we are so lacking in information. It is done intentionally, but you know what? How many people know that information has been denied them? How many of you know that you have been denied pertinent information for your well-being? Raise your hand. All right. How many people know that modern Europeans have intentionally left information out that you need so that you can protect yourself and your family? All right, so we all know this, right? Are we, any of us, mentally retarded? No. So because we know, right? We now then have to reprogram our own minds so that we then have the necessary information so that we can make decisions that is in the best interest of us and our families, correct? So we can't use that I was enslaved and oppressed for X amount of years, no more, right? Because we know. You can say, you can't even say that, because once you say, well, you know, I've been oppressed, you're admitting that someone has intentionally denied you information. But can they do that now? Can they do that now? So that means it's on each and every one of us to go out and find that information that was denied us and study it and embrace it and embody it. Islam? So one of the ways that we can do that is through changing or going back to how we brought the next generation into this particular dimension. Many of us have been miseducated and misinformed, and we go into these institutions they call hospitals, and it's through these hospitals that they hold us and our future generation hostage. When historically, we never went into those venues. I remember not too long ago, there might be some people who remember it. I remember it. I remember them, you know, discussing it in certain movies where we as a people we couldn't go into these so-called institutions they call hospitals. They wouldn't take us. How many people remember that? Not too long ago. How many people remember that? I'm the only one? I'm the only one who remembers that. They made a movie. It was a comedy movie. I think it was called Mother Judge and Speedy, something like that, where an Asiatic sister was in labor, and they called the ambulance, and the ambulance picked her up, and they took her to a hospital. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was up in this area. They took her in labor to one of the hospitals, and they denied her entry because she was Asiatic. So they put her back in the ambulance, took her to another hospital, and they denied her entry. And I'm not sure if they took her to a third hospital, but I do remember her having the baby in the ambulance on the side of the road because they had to pull over and assist her having the baby because the hospital denied her entry. That was not too long ago. Maybe, it may be, but here's the thing. Historically, we never went to those institutions to have our children. Historically, we never went to those institutions to be healed because they're not, you're healing yourself by what you think and what you eat and the energy that you're generating. You're healing yourself. Nobody's healing you, right? Nobody's doing that. You're doing this all yourself. Believe it or not. I know we hate to say that, but the major reason most of us have medical challenges is because we can't control our hand-to-mouth action. We take everything and put it to our mouth. We don't investigate it. We don't know what kind of reactions we're going to have. Many of us have allergic reactions to them and take other stuff so that you won't be aware of the allergic reaction. It's lack of information because they have us functioning under apparently what works for modern Europeans. But we're a different family. We're a different makeup. We're a different chemistry. What's working for them is not going to work for us. That's a known fact. It's not going to work for us. They can be cut up a lot of times and stitched back together, whereas if we're cut up and stitched back together, we don't mend well because it's not normal for us to be cut up, and I'm with Sebi. If we were supposed to be cut open, we would have came with a zipper. All right? It makes so much sense. But we have to learn how to take responsibility for ourselves and our next generation. And one of the ways that we can do that is to ensure that when the next generation is coming in, we're going the natural home remedy route, family by your side, and you're not submitting yourself to a foreigner for them to do anything that they want to you and the baby while you are in a vulnerable position. Hindsight is something else because it's something to reflect back, knowing what you know now, right? And knowing as a woman, I lied there in the most vulnerable position and gave birth to a child that they could have done and may have done any manner of thing to. And I was in a very vulnerable position. If I had been absolutely, completely alone without any family, friend whatsoever, anything could have happened to me. And this is what's happening with the young sisters today. They're so cut off from their family that they're going into these venues to have their babies, and any manner of thing is happening to them. And they are just accepting of a lot of things that really they should be questioning. So with that, the first thing that we have to do is we need to build ourselves up and be comfortable knowing that if we follow our intuition, it will never lead us wrong. All right? But we got to get there. We got to get there with information because it's scary having a child, but it's not as scary if you have information, and it's certainly not scary if you have an awesome doula, i.e. midwifery, to guide you along the way, and that's what Sister Amala is here to do today. she is going to talk about, did I say it right, doula? Oh, good, doula. She's going to talk about being a doula and how that can assist the sisters so that they do not have to go to these modern Europeans ever again, and we can bring in the next generation in peace, in harmony, free of any fear and anxiety with our families and friends around us, you know, like we used to do. Islam? So without further ado, here is Sister Amala. Islam? All right, let me just Bluetooth your phone. In the meantime, yes. Here, and take this and put that in here. And just keep that on mute and I'm going to take it until I Bluetooth this here. Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to come get the... All right, thank you. Greetings, everyone. How y'all doing this evening? Awesome. Kind of liven up a little bit. I know everybody's like, you know, excited about what I'm going to be sharing, and I'm definitely, before I get started, I'm going to need your energy and your involvement because I'm not one of those speakers that like to speak at you. I like to speak with you so that we can get into a dialogue. But at any given time that you have a question, just raise your hand, stop me, and let's dialogue because this is a learning experience. So I need to get some information from you. You'll be able to get some information from me. So I am Amala Earth Bay. I'm honored and thankful for Sister Annie Eve and Sister Raj Mariah for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful 3-week program talking about what to do in the event when social services or people come knocking at your door. Believe it or not, I was one of those people that come knocking at your door. That's in my pastime. Don't worry, I'm not coming to knock at your door. So I'm just honored, number one. I definitely would have liked to see more of our sisters because what I have to share, and even though you all are in front of me, I'll be able to share with those who are viewing and listening, you know, via on the phone or the airwaves or whatever. Because my mission and my purpose in life is to empower our sisters. I am a woman and empower our men. I don't want you to think that I'm discriminating. However, that when we educate a woman and when we raise her up, what do? We raise a nation. We're building nations. We're mothers of civilization. So anything that we bring forward is going to be a replicate of who we are. So it's very important for the woman in her state of mind, her peace, her balance, to know who she is, assert who she is. So that way, when you walk and when you move, people know who you are. They know how to greet you. They know how to deal with you because it's something about your character, your personality that says, I am who I am and not what you think I am. So one of the things that I do is I do empowerment. And so I'm going to share with you a little bit about my journey. Hopefully I stay on course. I am a Gemini, so I tend to float, you know what I mean, and jump all over, but I'm going to bring y'all right back full circle. So I am a mother of 5. I have 5 beautiful children, Makai, Amore, Heaven, Legend, and Empress. They are 10, 8, 5, 2, and 1. All natural birth, no epidurals, no medications, no anything of what they give out there today. My goal is to empower all women that we can take back our power in how we give birth and how we bring forth our children because we are the foundation. We are the beginning. So when you talk about these foreigners or these outside agencies or just anybody who you invite or involuntarily come into your life, it starts with who you are. So when you bring forth your little king and your little queen is very important on that and how they are birthed into this world. So I've had the beautiful experience of having 3 hospital births, and
I'll tell you, I don't have a bad story, so to speak, to share. I've had an experience, but I found it to be very beautiful in that my first son, Makai, who's now 10, I had a hospital experience, and this is what I knew. My mom and family really didn't coach me about staying at home. That was down the line as I experienced for myself. And so my son, I remember, by the way, I had him in New Jersey. I'm not from New York, this area. So New Jersey. I was a young mom. I was 23, just graduated with my master's degree in school. And it was time for me to give birth. Prior to giving birth, I had moved into becoming a vegetarian. So I stopped eating pork, meat, and all of these different foreign things that would, alter my body chemistry. And I started implementing greens and juicing and fresh vegetables and fruits. These are all the things that we need. So a lot of times when women are having certain issues, right, with their pregnancies, with their births, a lot of times it's not only the physical foods that you eat, but the mental foods that you eat. So not only was I eating well, what I thought at that time, that was, 10 years ago, I also was doing things like spiritual books and Queen of Four and Sacred Woman. I went through the rites and passages, all of these things to help with my mental. Because to that, I was just, running around a young girl, adapting to my environment and doing different things, I have no business doing. Nevertheless, full speed ahead, I'm getting ready to have Makai. So I know a little bit. So I tell them I need to have my birth plan. Number one, ladies, sisters, pardon me, when you get ready to prepare, you're going to have a baby. You need a plan. A lot of times we go into this thing blindsided, waiting for someone else to tell us what we need to do, how we should do it. And then we running around like, they just told me to do X, Y, and Z. Well, what do you have in place for yourself? Number one, a birthing plan. And it should outline specifically what you desire. Because, by the way, it's your body, it's your birth. You carry this seed for 9 months or however long that you carry your baby. So it's important to have your plan. State for the record, I don't want any medication. I don't want you in my room. Because you can say this when you go into a hospital. You let them know. With all due respect, I would like a peaceful environment. You'll only come in when I need you or when I call you. Or if there's an urgent emergency where you need to intervene. And before you do that, I need you to, speak to me about what it is so I can consult doula. If you have a doula, they'll be there with you. Or if you have a midwife. I highly recommend our sisters, before you go have a baby, whether it be at home or in the hospital, get yourself a doula, find out. You can Google it. I'm a big fan of ICTC, International Center for Traditional Childbearing, with Shafia Monroe. That's who I trained under and got certified. They have a wealth of information. So if you know of another sister in another state, they're international, so they can give you that information. So you got your birthing plan. You're assertive. Your mindset is there. If it's not, I highly recommend for women to talk. Young girls nowadays, they're having babies. They have nobody to talk to. They don't know what they're doing. I highly recommend if you're around a young girl or a young sister who's getting ready to do that, connect her with someone because 9 times out of 10, she doesn't have a clue. And so we'll continue to produce the same thing, and we'll continue to have people come in and tell us what we need to have done. So I have my birthing plan. I had it signed, autographed, notarized, and 3 witnesses, right? So there's no reason for anybody to get it wrong, right? So with Makai, it was about, I want to say 4:30 in the morning. You need me? Okay. Where do I put this in? Yeah. All right. What do you need? Oh, you good? You know how to do it? Go to reset. All right. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning. My water breaks. I have to go in. But I know I got my birthing plan, so I'm good. But I make an extra copy so I can take it with me and have it in my bag. So full speed, I get to the hospital. Everything is good. I'm fine. They say, what would you like to do? I want to be left alone. Follow my birthing plan. I'm just going to continue to walk until it's time for me to go into active labor. So, like I said at that time, I knew about the midwife and doulas, but in New Jersey, that's considered a cosmetic. Now, that was then, but now they're really opening up to you having a doula and having a midwife. Then you had to, like, pay out of pocket. I think it was like $5,000 or $6,000. You know, very expensive. So not everybody, even like myself at that time, you know, wasn't privy to those type of funds. So I'm in the hospital setting, and I'm feeling real, what's the word when you go in a closed space and you just, yes, I was feeling that, like all of these people coming out of nowhere, here, I need to put you a badge on, and this, and all of this type of stuff, it's heavy. It's an experience of a lifetime for a woman to go in there, and one who doesn't know much, you got everybody coming at you. And sometimes while you need to really just focus on giving birth, you're trying to sign papers, you don't know what you're saying and all that. The doula is really good because they're there to support you while you focus on giving birth. Now, at the time, my doula was the father of my child and my cousin. Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. All right. All right, great. All right. So my doula was my the father of my child and my cousin. And simply, this piece is not connected. Is that all right? It is. It was just hanging out. Oh, all right. All right. Let's get this together. Pardon me. You know, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge because my phone is broke. My screen. So I have to take it out the case, but I'm going to do the best I can with holding it while. All right.
You sound good.
All right, great. All right. So was my doula my cousin, and basically they provided me support, breather, mala, whatever questions that were attempted to me, they handled everything for me. So all I needed to do was focus and be in tune with my breath, myself, and my pregnancy. Well, after a couple of hours go by, I'm being assertive. They said they never seen anybody like me before because I was moving. I was letting them know what you're not going to do to me. And that's just the way it was. I follow my plan. But what was interesting was that when a woman is giving birth, young girl, whatever, doesn't matter who you are, when that moment is about to come where you're right there, you're not focused on anything else. And what kind of transpired for me, my first experience, what got me in the position that I am today, which is empowering women, is because they did something that I didn't give them permission to do. So after all is said and done, I birthed my baby, he's out, everything is good. I don't know what's going on. They are performing, some of you sisters already know when they cut you, which is called the episiotomy. You're familiar with that, right? You're familiar with that, right? Episiotomy. When they need, they intervene because they think that you don't want to feel the pain or you don't want your vaginal area to stretch or ragged itself or what have you. So they will cut you. However, it's all about commerce and it's all about money. However, I didn't know what this doctor did until after the fact. So, and the support team that I had there, they were knowledgeable, but not that knowledgeable. They thought that it was all right, and they didn't know what was going on. Well, anyway, this gentleman slipped me a Mickey. All right? So he went ahead like, wait a minute, this woman, she asserted we ain't get no medication. She ain't take the pills. She ain't do the epidural. She ain't get the shot, Pitocin. We ain't make no money off of her. We ain't make the money we need to make. We got to do something. And so, lo and behold, this is what they did. And it was a lot of money. I think an episiotomy, when I seen the bill, I think it was like $3,000. All right? What was interesting about that, I was very upset. I felt very violated. I felt like you took something away from me that I didn't give you permission to do to me, to my body. But when you're in these environments that you don't fully know, when you can't put your complete 150% trust in practitioners, that they don't break bread with you, they haven't come to your house, they don't know anything about you besides fill out the paperwork, application, name, number, where you live, address, yada, yada, yada. And I was one of those, even though I did my birthing plan. So anyway, they performed this, and I'm mad. Oh, well, their response to me was, well, we do it to everybody. All the women want it. Wait a minute. Did you just put me on an assembly line with everybody else because whatever, I don't want to say package goods, but whatever women have come in prior to me, this is what they want, so is what I want too? Under no circumstances will I accept that. You will apologize to me. You will remove this bill that you have this amount, because I'm not paying it, and we're not going to have anybody to pay this because I didn't give you permission to do that to me. And you didn't ask me. You didn't say, excuse me, would you like us to, we see something going on, you just did it because you needed to make some money. You wasn't concerned about me. So I always tell women, be very careful because people are slick. And unless it's your own kind and your own peers and people that you know, you have to always have your guard up. And you always have to have somebody with you to be on them like a hawk. What you doing? What you doing down there? You have to do that. And I say it to women now more than anything is when you go in there, be prepared. And I'm not knocking. Some places do good stuff. They follow the book and they do what you ask them to do. But you have some people, they didn't cha-ching for the month, and they need to find a way to make up for it. Same thing they do when we navigating on the roads, and it's at the end of the month, and they need to make that quota. So it's like, okay, pull that one over. We checked, and this one is B, black, and they fit the description. Pull them over based on what's in the system. So I always tell sisters just to be mindful, to do your homework, do your research, have your support team, your doula, your birth worker that is at your bedside to be on them. Or where I'm at today, go ahead, brother, you have a question?
Nurses were very aggressive, but I attempted to not have them separate the umbilical because that also the birth certificate from then attached the birth certificate to the child. But the doctor was very aggressive and asked to cut it. So I was a little upset that we not even couldn't get rid of that yet. So we need everything on it. But going back to the first thing I said,
right. Yeah. Right. And you touched on a good point because that's basically what he said is how he intervened to advocate for a sister in terms of not cutting the umbilical cord because it ties one into creating a birth certificate, a document, and et cetera. So he was just talking about how he spoke up and, was able to help the sister in that matter because hospital staff, some of them, not all of them, are very aggressive in their approach. They're very cut and dry. We're doing this because it's procedure. They have a boom, 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 go down the line. They got the baby bed. When you go in there, sometimes just go in the setting to see what it's like. You'll see. They got you cooked, signed, sealed, and delivered ready. And anything off course is a problem to their pay. So you got to be very careful when you start to interfere, with the business aspect of just what they do because it is a business. Yes. Can you speak up just a little louder? Mhm. And see, just to speak on that, what he's talking about, he said that in the situation that CPS, Child Protection Services, were called as a result. Now, listen, can I share this with you all? Again, anything outside of the natural course of what they do that raises the eyebrow, whatever, or sometimes they're just exercising their practices and what they do, the CPS business is always, just kind of what they do. Now, I'll share with you, I wanted to go back to what you were talking about in terms of the biblical course, but let me finish with my son. Now, I am a very petite woman. When I had my son, I was probably about 113 pounds. And I really wasn't showing, I just had a little ball, when I had my son. And I was a vegetarian, so I was eating a certain type of way. Well, Makai was weighed in at 5 pounds, 5 ounces. Everybody went crazy. Baby too small. I don't know what's going on because I'm like, he's a healthy baby, but they have this rule. And again, this was 10 years ago. I don't know what's going on now because I haven't been in a hospital setting, but I do work with, new mommies, and I haven't come across it yet, where I think that the weight now is they have to be 5 pounds, 8 ounces for them to meet the mark. If not, they're calling CPS because the weight of the baby does not meet the basics, and they think that it's a problem. They want to know what's going on. And if you don't say you do drugs or you don't smoke, then they're wondering what's going on. They might say you got low blood and all of this other type of stuff that they create. Anyway, when I was in the hospital with my first child, they was on the phone, a whole bunch of activity was going on. So, I'm just like, well, what happened? So I asked my children, what happened? He was like, they was getting ready to call CPS. I said, why? Because Makai was weighing in small. I said, they're calling for a small baby. I'm in here. I'm a healthy woman. They see my credentials, all of this. What's going on? Let me tell you why they told CPS to turn around. Because when he screamed, his lungs were so strong, they knew that nothing was wrong with him. So that was a prerequisite to telling CPS, back off, you good. You don't got to come in. And I'm like, what is going on here? I said, I said, listen, they would have called CPS. Now, mind you, I haven't experienced. This is what I do. So I wasn't, afraid or anything like that because I was in that line of work. I said, they would have had a problem with me because I was ready. I was prepared for whichever way, because I heard about stories, people do. They say, be careful, they're aggressive. They use the word aggressive. They want to hurry up and get you in. As soon as you're in labor, are you ready? We could give you some Pitocin to move the contractions along. What is that? I don't even know how to say the name. You want to inject me with something that I don't even know what this is. What is in it? Oh, it doesn't matter what's in it. It's safe. And, they do that. Everybody takes it. See, you have to be mindful of all the women take it. Nobody else has a problem with it. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with me is I am not them. I am myself, and I choose not to participate in what you got going on here. Thank you so much for offering. You had a comment? L&E?
Labor and delivery.
Yes.
What hospital?
Monmouth Medical.
Because they tried it with me, but the first time I had my child, Elizabeth, was 1991, 12/9/19. She was 9 pounds. Aaliyah was a little smaller. And then they tried it. I said, no. And I wasn't knowledgeable as I was now, but I was knowledgeable enough to say, no. You don't feel comfortable. Well, you don't have any rights. I said, you're 100% right. I don't have any rights. But I'm telling her, and I'm protecting her. So I'm going to stay with her, and you're going to do what she says, or we're going to have problems.
Right.
I said, no, I'm not going to fight you. My father knows an old Jewish lawyer. Now they backed off. Because you have to talk, and I didn't talk aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have to set priorities, and then my ex-wife still works in the Columbia Texas attorney where we had to both babies, no babies. But they still have the same criteria. But once you let them know that you know what's going on,
Key.
the ball changes.
Right, absolutely.
But once don't know your rights to liberty or anything.
You don't have any, and you're going to take it as if you don't know. You're ignorant to what your rights are, and so we're going to proceed as we see fit, bottom line. And so, and again, you really raise a good point, and that's across the border, it's really about knowing, being assertive, having advocates around you, and going, before you go in there, be knowledgeable, get to know the people who are going to be serving you at such a precious moment. If you're going to choose that environment, get to know your nurses, ask them about, like, some people, you know, when we go into these places, and do we ever stop and say, how you doing, what's your name, how long you been working here? Oh, all right, what school did you go to? How many sisters and brothers do you have? We don't do that. They grill us and ask us questions, and we sitting there 1986. My mother got this. Oh, does your father have diabetes? Yes. When do we stop for a minute and say, hold up, I would like to get to know you? I did a presentation in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and that was my focus, was get to know who you're dealing with. I would love for somebody to speak to me and say, could you tell me a little bit about who you are? People want to tell you about who they are, but we don't go. The women go in the hospital, lay down on the bed. All right, no questions asked. We do this, and I'm serious about this. It happens more than you can imagine. How many women are being molested, taken advantage of? And I use the word molested in meaning that they're being violated without knowing it, and someone is taking the aggressive position to take advantage or use their authority or their title to say that I'm a better knower than you, do as I say, or we're going to use CPS, blah, 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 and all of these different things and so forth and so on. Right.
But I explained to the woman I was not in the hospital, the lap addict exploded.
The who?
The lap addict exploded. Now we're in the hospital. And I said, we have to go sit down. I said, let me explain something. If a meteorite comes down and hits this hospital, and only she and the doctor that takes care of the life, that's it. You're not going to be her nurse. I said, come back in the room, try to do it again. It won't be working. Because I know the director, not even know who I was.
Right.
I said, by the way, what just happened in my saying is that because her skin tone is copper tone, that's going to treat her like a dog. We're going to have problems.
Right.
Now what you know is how you know and how you say it.
How you say it. That's right. Because a lot of times, you know, our brothers and sisters, we Moors, we know, and this, that, and the third, and a lot of times our approach changes everything. But if you go in, you standing on your square, you assertive, you speak in an intelligent tone, and they know you know your stuff, they're going to bow down and respect you. They have no other choice but to do so. Going back to what the brother said about the umbilical cord, well, you know, part of the ritual is to get the father or someone else to cut the umbilical cord. Now, there's a science about women should wait, and we should choose to wait at least 1 hour for pulsation to stop before we go and detach the baby from its lifeline. It's very important, but they get the dad, hey, Dad, you got the scissors? All right, get the camera ready. And we don't know. We thinking this is a part of the program. We having fun with this, not realizing that they got us. They said, look, we ain't responsible for cutting them. The father did, or the sister, or whoever was here. We got them to do the work. You know, you don't know it's a game until you're on the outside looking in and you're able to really see a bigger picture about what's going on. Me at 23, I didn't know that, but when I look back now, because I know my situation so vividly, I'm like, all right, that's all right, y'all got me. That's all right, you know, forgive myself, forgive them, be empowered to move on to empower someone else, all right? Now, with that being said, with that experience, I got to do great things with Makai. I got to get in the shower. I got to take a bath. I used my essential oils. I diffused my oils while I was there because that's what I told them I'm going to do. It was in my birth plan. And they said, well, we don't have no problem with that. Whatever relaxes you, Mom, and this, that, and the third. And I was calm about it. And I was very cordial, you know, when I spoke with them. So I had my lavender, and I had all my stuff, and I birthed a beautiful son, and he is amazing today. I have 4 more. I went back into the hospital again the second time around. The second time around was very interesting, y'all, because, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but the second time was so interesting, and I want y'all to listen to this. Amore, it was about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, yeah, it's time for me to go. And I knew, same hospital, but now I'm more empowered, and they know me, so they know what I'm coming with, and they know that everything is cool. I'm in the waiting room. I'm not ready. The doctor says, the doctor, whoever he was, you're going to be forever. You only dilated 1 centimeter. So for a lot of you men, 1 centimeter is you're just getting started. You ain't really cracked the surface yet. You got to get all the way to 10 centimeters before the woman is ready. When she gets to 10 centimeters and she has dilated and opened up, now she's ready. So the doctor went home. I'm going home. I need to take a shower. Relax. So I'm tired. And I got to using my spirituality and my affirmations, and I was saying to Amore, I said, Mommy's tired. I'm breathing through these contractions because I don't, one of the things about everything is to focus in on our breaths. It's very important. I'm learning that more and more now, is to just stop for a minute, even when we're speaking, or if you find yourself frustrated, just pull it in. It does something. So I remember I'm breathing. My doula is there, her godmother, and she got me with the warm towels. Do you want the shot? Do you want this? No, I'm good. Could you please leave? All right, cool. So I'm talking to Amore because this doctor left. So why he go home? Oh, all right. First, I don't know. You call it a miracle. You call it that, that God consciousness, that oneness, that supreme alignment with you and that new being. When I said, Mommy's ready to go and I need you to come down, I let you all know that Amore, all of a sudden, I said, I got to use the bathroom. I got to go. You don't got to use the bathroom. What's going on? The Amore, I'm in the waiting room. I'm just sitting there. And at my first baby, I'm still experiencing the second one. I was ready to go. The doctor had just left 15 minutes ago. He said I was going to be there for hours. He said she'll be off a long time. Long story short, Amore's ready to go. They got me on the bed, and we're rushing, and all these beautiful women, women were around me. And within like 3 breaths, I think I did inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and she was out. And that was it. And they didn't set up anything. The hospital, they got to set up all this. They didn't do none of that. But I'm sharing this story to say this. The doctor wasn't there. He ain't come back. The lady, I don't even know what her title was. She was just like the support personnel. In the event, what we going to do? It wasn't another doctor on staff. We got to deliver this baby. Pardon me? No. No midwife, just nurses, aides, whoever these people was. I don't know their title. They weren't the doctor. But they had to do what they had to do. Baby, I'm there. What you going to do? You can't push the baby back in. It's not stopped. You got to come out. But she just came out, and that was it. But what was interesting and what also empowered me is that after all is said and done, Amore 5 pounds, 8 ounces, lungs is great, she's good. By the way, I don't do the staying in the hospital 2 and 3 days. Once we ready to go 24 hours, I'm good, I'm out of there. I don't want to be in there anymore. I'm gone. So I get a bill, right? So I look at the bill and it says $15,000 for a vaginal birth. I said, what the wait a minute. So I call the doctor's office. I said, excuse me, I'm taking a look at the bill here, and I noticed that you billed $15,000 for vaginal birth. The doctor was not present. Oh, we made a mistake. That was a typo error. Really? You don't pay attention? They're coming for us. We are their lifeline. Without us, there's no them. So we give energy to all of these different entities, all of these different people. You have to be careful who you give it to, and you got to catch them. You got to be observant and watching these things. Oh, that was a typo error. Your balance is only $2,200, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, he knew he was gone. He left. And you want to take advantage yet again. But this is what happens when you don't pay attention and when you don't know. I just wanted to share that with y'all. Y'all audience response was like amazing because I was like, well, that's how I was when I saw the bill. The nerve of these people to do something like this and then think that somebody like myself is not going to catch you and then call you on it. Oh, we apologize. Go ahead. Islam. I did all the work. Oh, wait a minute. It's funny because I asked them, what's this? Oh, this was for no anesthesia, but I forget what it was for. I think it was for them taking me from the emergency room, whatever it was. But anyway, nobody was there. And nobody did anything, set up nothing, no IVs, no anything. Whatever they do was just nothing. It was one of those pure, natural, uninterrupted birth that was just really amazing. But go ahead, sir. For my son. For the second. Okay. So Makai, the cord was cut, the first one, I want to say very quickly, probably within like 20 to 25 minutes. Boom, boom, bam. Quick. Amore, it was done very quickly. I didn't know what I know now about waiting for the cord to finish pulsating because my last three children, we waited with the third one. The last two children were what you call lotus babies, and I'll explain that to you. But anyway, so I just wanted to share that with you all. Just please be mindful, do your homework, ask questions. After I'm finished, if you want to go further with me to dig into, my archive of information, just call me. I'll give you all my email. I'm very text friendly. Yes, even with my 5 children, I do manage to, in between, I'll respond because I know how much we need each other and we're a village. And so it's really important for us to do our duty. And even if I don't get right back to you, I really will. I respond within like 24 or 48 hours, something like that. I email you, I shoot you. And this lovely sister knows, see, I met her, and immediately the sister asked the question, and I was on it because we got to get this right here and right now. My last two, go ahead.
What is the story behind wait 1 hour for that?
Yes, so you wait 1 hour. When the baby is connected to its lifeline, the placenta, there's a pulsation, and you can actually see it. I actually have a video, and you can see it. The blood is still flowing, so it's pulsating. They say you wait until that 1 hour to give it a chance to just calm down, kind of relax, stop pulsating so much, because what happens when you do it prematurely, and what science says, it's actually a traumatic experience. Because the baby is they with the placenta this whole 8-9 month ride, and now you're detaching it so abruptly away from the only thing that it had. So it gives it time for the disconnection to take place. They say the rule of thumb is 1 hour, and you can demand, whether you're in a hospital, home, or whatever. When you're doing a home birth and you have a midwife, they're very open to that. They automatically won't even really bother you. It's the hospital where you have to kind of state for the record, I want you to wait 1 hour, and you put that in your birth plan. And if you need a copy or sample of a birth plan, I have one. I'll email it to you. I'll give it to Annie, Ede, Rosemary. They can send it all to you so you can kind of see what it looks like. I'm very detailed. Boom, boom, boom. So they don't have no questions to ask. And they have to read it. And you make sure, sometimes what I really do is get them to sign off on it, because if you give it to them and they're so busy doing something else, they won't read the whole thing in its entirety, and they'll still miss something. So you have to have a doula or a birth worker to reiterate, follow that plan, every step of the way. So the last two were lotus babies. Lotus births are when you keep the baby connected to the placenta until it naturally detaches itself. Very humble experience for me to do that. My last two was at home in water via lotus birth. So I had them in a very natural setting in water, very beautiful ladies. If you ever want to, experience it, it's the most peaceful and amazing experience one can have in terms of giving birth, because the baby is already inside of you in water. For it to be birthed into water is just amazing, and it relaxes the mom, at least for me and everybody that I know who's done it. So at home in water, the lotus birth. Legend and Empress were lotus babies. So I have pictures. They don't have the thing to show you all so you can see it, but I'll give it to them so you can see what it looks like. People are like, what? Yes, when Legend was born, you have to dress up the placenta a certain way. I won't go into deep with that. I'll let you all have a video on placenta care and what you're actually supposed to do. But you dress it up herbs because you need to preserve it. This is blood. This is, it's an organ. So it's, it has come out of you, and there's a way you do it. So that way, while you're holding on to this baby and the placenta, it's not creating a smell. Because we know that after blood, it's sitting for a while, it will smell. So you dress it up. I use a lot of essential oils. I am an essential oil distributor, so I use certain different things, some sage, some herbs, some rosemary, and cinnamon, make it smell good. And you wrap it in a cloth. And for me, I wrapped it in a red cloth. And the baby is still attached to it. And I got Legend here with his little placenta. It's no big deal. You cup the baby like you're cupping all of them together. And people are like, well, how do you walk around with him? It's actually just the same way same way you hold them normally. The reason why I like the experience is because it's very spiritual. It gives you the opportunity to bond with this new being. Do you ever notice that people or women, when they give birth, you got 50,000 people rushing in, want to see the baby and want to see the mom and in her ear after she just gave birth? I don't find that to be the healthiest thing. I think that a birth is very sacred. I think that a mom and the baby needs to have time to bond and relax and quiet and peace. All of that, I don't even know where we got that from as a people. Everybody bum rushing in. I don't consent to that. People know me. They be like, look, you're going to sit outside. Nobody can come in but the doula and the father. Everybody else, you must wait. The lotus birth, people are like ill to it. Like that's how a lot of people, I ain't doing that. I like it because it keeps people away. You don't want to hold the baby. You don't want to touch nothing because you're looking at this. You think it's weird. And it's fine. I don't mind you being grossed out because now I get to bow my baby. I got to worry about you wanting to touch him. Because then I don't want to say, please don't touch the baby, or excuse me, hands off. Because, we got to do that. I don't know about y'all, but I have a baby. I don't do that. Oh, he's so cute. Let me do. Not doing that. So it's, the sister is a sister online. She's amazing. She had 8 children, all natural. She taught me through her videos how to do a lotus birth at home. When we talk about the theme of this program and what I'm here to do is different environments. You can have a baby in the water outside, in the river. I don't know if you all know, but way, way long time ago, our ancestors, our mothers, great-grandmothers, grannies, they had the babies wherever they was. If I'm here and I'm about to give birth, then I'm going to make sure I know what to have around me or travel my travel bag so at any given time I could just be right here on the couch, on a little chair. We just do what we got to do and we get going. All of this, monopolizing and monetizing and you got to do it this way and only here, it's really a bunch of crap. It's where you want to do what you want to do. Just like how you made the baby, you was choosing where you wanted to do that at. Nobody was dictating, you got to be right here on the bed. No, we grown. Do what we want to do. So the lotus birth is really, really great. Does anybody, before I kind of move forward, any questions about other environments, different types of births? Do you know anybody who's pregnant right now or any type of experiences that you know of where you need clarity on? I want to make sure I touch on it, but I do want to say that when it comes to natural birth, it's about the woman knowing who she is, being in tune with herself, being in tune with this being that, they're one, and all of that entails. And I've done hypnobirthing, sitting down in a circle, just breathing, meditating, thinking about the ocean. All of these type of visuals and different things help. And I'm at the point where now in 2016 that wherever a mom is comfortable, if you want to be in a tub and that's where you're comfortable at, well, we're going to make it work for you to be in a tub. As long as there is no urgent 911 emergency, which a lot of times there are with some of our women who are not in the best of health. They haven't taken care of themselves during their pregnancy, so they have high blood pressure, low blood, all of these different things that will warrant you to be in a certain setting because anything could happen. You could lose too much blood. You could do something. So there's a time and place for everything. I am not anti-hospital. I'm not anti any particular area. I'm more so empower yourself and know where you're going, your surroundings, and just be prepared when you choose that because it's all about your choice. And if you're uncomfortable with the setting, talk to your doula, talk to your midwife, go online. There's a lot of different resources that in 2016, there's no more I don't know. Like, please, for anybody, let's just kill that and put that to bed. But I don't know. Google it. Even put something in that internet and figure it out and start pulling up some stuff. Ask everybody. You never know right now in this room who you're sitting next to, a specialist, an expert, a father who had 3 children. Sometimes all you have to do is just open up your mouth and get to know the people that are around you. You had a question? Islam? It's interesting that you asked that because I already had their appellations and their titles before they were, before I had them. Actually, the way all of their titles and appellations came is through, again, I'm working on my spirituality every single day. So what I was feeling, how I was eating, what type of heightened experience I was going through. So you have these, Makai Ra, Amore Prima Earth, Heaven Angel Earth, Legend Jael, what is his name? Kisan. Legend Jael Kisan, Empress Kila Ariska Bay. Now, Empress, the last one, we did a naming ceremony through a Yoruba priestess, and I highly recommend it. It was just brought me to tears what they do and how they bring, the baby in and how we're actually supposed to wait and get to know the being, the baby when you come. And so she was the only one who we did a naming ceremony where I still knew what it was. We just couldn't tell the public. We couldn't make it a public thing until we did the ceremony. And that was a beautiful experience this time around for Empress because we had a really beautiful ceremony. So, yeah, Islam. International Center for Traditional Childbearing, ictcmidwives.org. I got my student doula certification last year in Portland, Oregon. While I was 6 months with Empress, I flew there. I got a scholarship. They're an awesome organization. I wanted to become a doula. The name, I felt like I was already a doula. I didn't need the name, but, for the purposes of the work that we do, I have the doula title now, but a lot of us are doulas. We support the woman. We're by her bedside. We're helping her. We're cooking for her. Some of the things that I do with my mommies, I go to their house and I'm raw. I don't want nobody, sometimes women are like, no, don't come over. My house is a mess. I'm going to clean it for you. That's what doulas do. It's a village to raise a child, so we have to get back to that synergy. I got mine, get yours. I'm not cut from that cloth. I'm with every baby is our responsibility because when that little seed grows up and start making decisions, for some of us who, we sat back and we didn't take part in the process and the growth and development of that seed. So they're all of our responsibility. as mothers of civilization, we are not just mothers to our own. We're mothers to humanity, to all of civilization. So when you see a mother, you see her, it is your duty. You need me to help you carry your bags? I got you. Let me take this from you. Keep on walking, whatever. People do that to me all the time. They be like, look, let me get your bags. You got all these bags. You got these children. Take the bags. Yes, take them. You know, I'm open door policy to assist me because it's our duty. So as a doula, I also prepare meals for mothers. I don't think that we should be cooking. I think that we're supposed to have the royal treatment. It's supposed to be laid out, and it doesn't have to be from our partner. A lot of times people are like, you got a man, you got a king, don't worry about that. You want to help? I'm all for it. I need you to go to laundromat. I need you to go to grocery store. And these are the things that a doula service will provide. We'll be there just to, I love giving massages and foot rubs to my mommies. I love when I get foot massages, especially after you just had a baby. It relaxes you. It just does something for you. So sometimes mommies look at me like, nobody else want to touch my feet. This one, listen, sister, put your feet up here. I got you. Put your leg up here. How you doing today? All right? You feel good? Just these little subtle things to assist her in the process. That's what a doula does. I have women right now that I service. They're all over. Just for them to call me and say, Amala, I'm having a situation. I'm feeling depressed. The baby is up all night. I can't get to you, but I'm going to use whatever is in my toolbox to relax you and help you to get through that process, because it is really indeed a journey when we take on the role of becoming a mother. It's no walk in the park, and we don't have no book. We have to learn and walk. And learn and walk and experience and trial. And, I always tell mommy, don't trip. You all right? Because you've been programmed to thinking that it's supposed to be this way, and that wasn't designed for you, or did you not know that? So I'm here to tell you, scrap that, please, and let's get on your schedule. You don't want the children to lay down and take a nap? Let them stay up. You don't have to fit into somebody's paradigm of what they see fit for you. You created, you commanded, you set the pace, you do as you choose. Why? Because we all have free will. And I always, and mommies be like, you know what, Amala, thank you, because I thought I was crazy. You ain't crazy. You just another mother getting ready to be on this journey to do what we came here to do. And the thing about it is, if we tap into our archive of information, we know how to do this. We just got to remember. We got to weed out the distractions from what somebody else was telling us on how to be. Our ancestors gave birth, nursed, breastfed, and by the way, I breastfed all my children up to like 2 years, but all of that. So we just got to remember and take it back to our origin of what we know. A lot of people say, Amala, you're old soul. I don't know. Maybe I've been here. I don't know. But I'm really like, take it back, because this stuff that they got going on, I don't want that. You could take that, send it somewhere. I'm creating my own path. And whatever I see fit, that's what I do. People say, when you do this, where did you go to get the resource? I am the resource. I experienced it. So whatever I give you is something that I've tried for myself. I don't share with anybody about anything that I have not done myself. I'm not able to. I got to send you over to Jane or John or whomever you got to go, to get that information. And I always tell people, I share with you my experience. It's for you to experience it for yourself, take bits and pieces and create your own circle, whatever that may be. And I always tell people, look at what other women do. And if it fits for you and your schedule and your household and your mate, then do that. And if that doesn't work, then try something else. So, and that's so a doula comes in. She does all kinds of different things. There's some amazing doulas out there that are just like hitting the ground running, and we are breaking records with what we're doing, how we're servicing women, how we're making the infant mortality rate decrease because we're involved. A lot of babies don't make it to their first year. Why? Because they didn't have the proper holistic modalities or practices in place or support in place, or just knowing that when you get ready to think about giving birth, that you should be filling your body with greens, kamut, spirulina, moringa, chlorophyll, wheatgrass. All of these things is going to triple charge your cells. So you ain't got to worry about the doctor saying, are you on your prenatal pills? I'm good. I got my greens going on. You know what I'm saying? My vitamin Bs. I'm eating spinach and kale. And, you know, so we got to get back to that because we haven't been filling our temples with the right stuff. And so we start looking outside of that, you know, and that's where we go wrong as well. So we have to get back to that. And there's some great people out there that are agriculture, you know, we got to get back into planting. You know, my grandmother, I remember as a little girl, she had just tomatoes and the green peppers. And then this, I say, what happened to the green thumb? I'm striving to get that. You know, I'm like so open to seeds and saving our seeds. Like, do y'all know that they're producing all of this food without the seeds? GMO, clone food, fake. Like, you got to pay attention to this. And you got to get on it. And y'all brothers, I want to say to y'all, if it's not your woman or sister, any information that I share with you, empower that sister. The best thing that you can ever give her is a lineage, is a link outside of herself that she can go to when she gets ready to bring in the next generation. We have to do better as a people, and we can't walk around in 2016 saying we're the victims and we did this, because when we know better, we do better. And once you know, you're held responsible to that knowledge and information. And a lot of people get the information and they go sit it down. And then when something happens, but somebody gave it to you. I gave it to you. Where is it? You know what, Amala? I put that thing down and I don't know where. You charged with the responsibility, you know? And so it's just very important. Brother, I think you had a question. No, not you. All right. Like, no, not me. I know. Yes, sis. Well, I wasn't sharing that. I think the brother here was talking about that. I think he mentioned something to the fact of cutting the umbilical cord and creating a birth certificate. Those weren't my words. I was just reiterating, what he said. But going into that, I don't want to really, touch on that, but I will say that when you go into a hospital setting, a lot of the Moorish brothers and sisters, go in there, I got my paperwork, I got my this and all of that, and I ain't get no birth certificate. Just remember, it's all about the environment. So you going in their spot, and then you trying to do, a whole bunch of stuff. The important part is to not enter into these environments where you don't have to battle about creating birth certificates and all this stuff, because a lot of women, and it's a lot of Caucasian women who have what is called an unassisted home birth. Nobody is around. They know what to do. They don't want nobody involved because they don't want to enter into any foreign, contracts with anybody. These women is going in like, going online. They had their babies. Nobody don't know. It's a private affair. But I need you to know I'm not trying to publicize my birth. So, but this is what they're doing. We talk about an unassisted home birth, and we got our family members in our ear. Why are you doing that? If you don't take your butt in the hospital and all this, because they don't know. So you got to weed out, you know what I mean, the little noise disruption from what you're doing, and got to stand square, because I've been through that before. People nowadays say, Amala, you crazy, you having these babies at home. And then, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. We ain't arguing. We're not arguing because it's my choice. And at the end of the day, I know that what I'm doing is for the greater good of not just myself, but just humanity. And when you stand in your being and you're assertive, nothing around you can move you. You walk in and you don't even know that this one right here is like, or this one right here is, because you walk in and you in your zone, you in your space. And it's having that confidence and that conviction about who you are and what you're choosing to do. Trust me, at now standing here before you, 35, I've gone through some stuff because, my family, I don't want to say the name, but some of them could just be a bit much with their opinions because they don't know. But then it's our job to teach them. Because now at 35, when I first had my son at 23, everybody thought I was going through a phase. Oh, she's just going through a phase. She's a vegetarian. She's doing all this stuff. She got a head wrap on, and, she's wearing 3/4. She's just a phase. She'll break out of it. I'm still here, and I'm teaching you all now. Y'all got to come through my doors now. You come and calling me, sis, I had somebody text me, what I'm supposed to do, my head is hurting, I don't want to take no medication, what I'm supposed to do? Oh, you want my essential oils now. Now you ready to get down with the holistic, and it's all good because that's what we want them to do. We want to be doing these things so that our people can come to us and feel embraced enough to say, I watched my sister go through that. She was strong. She stood on her square. She had her baby. They not vaccinated. They going to homeschool, and she ain't got nobody. DPS ain't knocking at my door because I'm setting up and I'm building a foundation. And everything, you got to keep in tune with what's going on because they always changing their stuff. While we changing ours, they changing theirs. Oh, they getting smarter. Let's go back in here and start rewriting some more stuff to implement. You just got to, move with the wave of things and just, be in your skin, love who you are, value who you are and your decisions, and you'll be fine. And when those, I call, temporary turbulence or storms, it'll be over soon. Let it ride. Stay in your space, and that's still important. Yes, beloved Islam? No. They're there. They've been created. Do I utilize them, with certain different things? No, I've created live births, for them. Let me explain something to you, too, about the birth certificate, because I think a lot of people are really, going in about this, and I don't know a lot of people who are actually, living the real deal. They got the birth certificate, they're saying it. And doing stuff. Okay, when you get a midwife is a licensed person who is contracted with the state in that jurisdiction area. They're licensed. So even if you tell them, I do not want a birth certificate, they're going to create one for the baby anyway. It's nothing you can put all the paperwork you're in. They're bound by what their contract is with the state, that if you assist birth or do whatever, we need to know that the baby was born. I've had the lady say to me, I said I don't want the birth certificate. I'm good. I'm fine. Oh, well, I'm going to just put one anyway. I said, well, if you want to commit that criminal act or whatever you got going on, you will be held responsible when and if that time comes. I said, well, you're going to create it anyway. What you want to do? Well, the only thing that they require us to put is Baby Joe. And that's it. Time, date, stamp, sealed. It doesn't have to have a name. These are bonds and contracts that they're creating. So it's really, it's a lot deeper. And so whether you ask for it or not, if you have a midwife, depending on what type of midwife, you have some lay midwives who are not contracted, with the state. And so they'll say, you don't want no birth certificate because I'm not contracted with them. It's all about the contract. They'll say, okay, we do live births, or we do, back in the day, and I think some people still do it now, you take a book, sometimes the Bible, the Holy Quran, the Circle 7, and you record, whatever, I had Mamie, this, that, and the third, whatever. That's your private affair. It's your private business. It doesn't involve anybody else. And if you want to put somebody on notice, when you feel the need to put them on notice, you do it the way you see fit and when you're ready. And that's just that. So if my children don't have it, whatever they created and whatever they got going on. See, I have a thing in my mind that the way I do is all of this paperwork stuff is not me. You can go and have fun in your world and just do what you do. I'm not really in the business to be fighting and doing all that type of stuff. I just move differently. Okay, like today, I had a situation where, my children going to camp. They was like, where is your birth certificate? I have my live birth. All right, are they in school? They're homeschooled. Well, where is your paperwork? Oh, do they have grades? Yes, they have everything. I'm going to give it to you because ain't nobody telling me what to do. Now, somebody step in and start questioning, then that's when you come. You got to, you get ready. You have your stuff in the back, when they come. But other than that, you just move like you move, and you smooth, because a lot of people in these corporations, they're not really giving a lot of us a hard time. They don't give you a hard time when you come with that type of energy, because you already in combat mode. You know what I mean? You battling somebody, they ain't even really trying to battle you. They just don't know. Some of them just, you know what I mean? They don't even have a clue, because they're just employees. They're just workers. They filled out the application and got the job. Just trying to make some money to take care of their family. They don't know all the policies in the book. They ain't even read that. They give it to you. Here's the HIPAA form. Here's your stuff. They don't read these things. So, So anyway, somebody else had a question? Yes. Live birth certificate, because the birth certificate, and I don't want to go, into depth with it, but we are, when we're birthed, it's a live birth. It's all about the way you word things as well. A birth certificate is different from a live birth. So you create a live birth document that says, I am not a dead, fiction corporation entity, which a birth certificate is, all caps, whoop-de-whoop. You bring your document to life with your energy in it. So people do different things with their live birth. Some people do a lot of stuff. They might drip some blood on it. They might create it a certain way and do a ritual around it, put it in a circle, do a prayer, do a meditation. And so you have your document, and it says live birth. You write it grammatically correct, with your progeny's title and appellation, and then you autograph it how you see fit. You seal it, with how you do things, and that's the way it's created. You have your witnesses if you want to. Might have mom, dad, and grandma. Y'all my witnesses, so y'all know, because that's what they want. They just want to say, you're here. We got some information on you that we can somehow create in the system. Now, when you're dealing with certain agencies, social service agencies and things of that nature, they have a protocol to follow. Sometimes we just can't fight with these people. They have a protocol to follow. Some people be like, I'm not giving them this and this, that. Well, you're not going to get what they giving you, what you're trying to get, because you're going about it certain type of ways. Certain things you're going to have to utilize that certificate. And sometimes you want to use whatever you want to use and keep your private stuff private. They don't need to, you know what I mean? It's not their business how you move. And so sometimes we just got to make the distinction sometimes before we go battling and getting all washed up about this birth certificate. Everything is designed for us to benefit from, to be prosperous, and to be productive. So all of this is ours. And when you have the mindset and you know that, be a master navigator. Know how to move. Know how to contract. Know how to speak. That's all it is. Just be swift and changeable, yet remainable. This one over here, okay, you need this. I'm going to work with you like this. When you deal with Sister Annie Eda Rosenraya, I'm going to work with you like this. Keep certain things separate. One don't have nothing to do with the other. Somebody had a question. Islam. Pardon me? Living within your self-contract, your God contract. You're here. All here. Just, just move. And, if I could say to people, strive not to make things difficult, than what it already may be. I think that when we fill up our toolbox, and when I say toolbox, I mean it's for all of us to create a toolbox, not a physical toolbox, but a mental toolbox. Gather the things that we need, so that way when you need it, you ain't got to rush to go get it. Put together your portfolios, get your documents, whatever it is that you need, so you can pull it out when you need it. Okay, the school, you need that vaccination exemption, I got that. You need that birth plan, I got that. You need a live birth, I have that. But you got to know who you're dealing with. Going back to getting to know. So if you go into social services and they need something, get the something. You know what I mean? Just like get it and move on. You know what I mean? And strive not to make your life, crazy, because we already have a lot of different things, that we have going on. Everything is a process. Sometimes we be trying to, how they say the baby is crawling. We want to, while you're trying to crawl, we trying to jump and swing over this. Walk through your steps, because even for me, I'm still growing. Right now I got, my children that's going to get to teenage. I'm not stressing myself now about it, but when I get there, I'll be ready, because I'm putting little things in my toolbox. I'm talking to mothers. If I know a mommy with a teenager, I'm asking her, sis, You got a teenager. What are some of the things, that you do? Could you give me a little bit? And I'm taking notes. I may not need them, and I'm tucking them, and I'm stuffing them. So that way, when I get there, I've asked somebody way in advance what I'm going to need. We got to get back into asking, too. Don't be afraid to ask and talk to each other, because we'll be amazed at what we have to share. Somebody had a question, comment? Yes?
I was just to add on to that. I seen a mother in front of the store ready to buy her son something. I'm angry. I don't got my kids, but I still said, I'm going to give the sister a message. Just don't buy him something without him earning it. Hope he did a clean room, or you got to tell him a message one time.
Right.
And then buy him something.
Right.
Buy him something if you buy him.
It's good that you point on that for the mother. Someone taught me to share this with me, with your children. You know how children say, can I have, can I have? You have to teach them to say, what can I do to earn this something? Because now we have an exchange. Just like when we ask somebody, if I come to you and I say, Islam, beloved, I know you have something that I need. What can I do to get you for 30 minutes a day? And is there anything that you need? So now we got to exchange, and we don't got to be depleting, one another. So you made a good point to her. It's about, and we're learning that now on how to change up our language and our speech, because we've had a bastardized way of communicating with each other, or being in fear about not to say nothing. Back in the day, my grandmother said something to everybody's children, and she was not afraid. Nowadays, we got this CPS all over our heads. Like, what? Come on, man. We have to take a stand and let them know, the village, we got this. We don't need you. You can go back over here. But this circle, this community, we good. But we're not fully there yet, where we're in our communities and we're saying, Amala over there, we know her and her children. She good. We go over there every day. We working together. See, we're not, that unity is not there. So as a result, we're so scattered. Everybody's all around. We're mingling with all kind of stuff and all kinds of different people. And so we're spaced out. And so when we start to bridge that community, whether it's physically, spiritually, online, or whatever, then we will see the strength, and people ain't going to come in. They're not going to be able to, because we're going to be locked arms like this. Can't come in. We ain't going to touch them. You go in certain communities, you don't even see what you see in maybe certain communities than you might see in an urban community. It's not happening because they tight. They got their structure in place. They got their Department of Communications. They got a health services worker. They got everything, government. They got it set up. And that's what we have to have. Islam. Certification for a doula. All right. So, oh my goodness, I might twist this up a little bit, because to do this certification, I think I filled out an application. You have to have an interest, wanting to do it. You have to give a little paragraph about why. And there really were no prerequisites. You had to do a training, and I think I paid $200 out of the $600 total cost. Now, one thing that I like about International Center for Traditional Childbearing is that they have scholarships. So if you go on their website, if you have a low income or no income, or you have a special situation or story, That's right. You on it. You already know. You're a master navigator. You know what I'm saying? He said it's no income, because we don't rock with no income. We have provisions and different things. There's no income. There's no income. The doors is opening up in every way, which way. But that's a whole nother topic. But you on point. That was a jewel right there. So my income, and I let her know I'm in school. I'm going to school right now for my doctorate degree, have this going on. I was able to get almost the full thing. Right. We got to know the wordplay, because they playing us with words. That's right. Real talk. So to the brother. I think it was like a total of 600. They give out scholarships like crazy. They're very supportive. They want people to learn this, and they're open to men. The brothers can come too. You know, they want to become a doula because guess what? When the brothers know the information, he's right there by his queen's side knowing what to do. It's online right now. They have a video of a brother. Oh, my gosh, he's amazing. If you just Google Lotus birth or home birth, this brother is speaking, you know, moving through. It's amazing. And I would just encourage all you brothers, if you know somebody, go ahead and get it. I always say, gather all the jewels you can. So when you need it, you have it. And, you know, you can just say, I got it, you know, and then, you know, when the time comes, you can use it. They hold classes all across the world at different times on their website. Mama Shafia is always all over the place. If you just go on their website or email her or find her on Facebook, she's amazing. Another sister, Dr. Amina Ali in Atlanta, Georgia, amazing. She's holding classes right now. She is an amazing midwife, and she's also, they have different prices, but what I like about that is when you let them know your situation, they might have some donated funds that will cover the whole cost for you to get the certification. You might have to get a plane ticket or a bus fare, you know, to get there. I know one girl was in my class. She got a free ride. You know, she was passionate. She wanted to become a doula. She making power moves, and she didn't have to pay anything. But she ain't have no income either, zero. She got no income. I'm homeless, wherever she is, wherever she said, you know. So yeah. And they have, I just recommend, I'm always for us, you know, with all due respect, not shunning what anybody else is out there doing, but I'm all about us. I always say find those organizations that represent who we are and our culture and support those businesses because we need to, you know, buy in to what they're doing so that the legacy and so that the energy continues to move forward. So I'm a little bit biased in terms of I always promote ICTC because they're amazing, and Erykah Badu is the national spokeswoman, you know, for them, so they're really great. Yes, Islam. Oh, thank you. Good question. 3 days, which I'll tell you something. The other babies where, you know, you cut it and you had a little stump, took like a week, sometimes 7 days for that little piece to just fall off. And, you know, you have to do all this stuff. They tell you to do all this stuff. It was so amazing that the umbilical cord just naturally, and it just detached. And it, even with the baby, when they're attached to the placenta, they're so peaceful. And they you know, my children were looking very happy because it's like I got my lifeline still there, and they're still getting nutrients, you know, those extra vitamins and nutrients from the placenta. So it's amazing. Nowadays you got people doing a lot of things with the placenta encapsulations and making smoothies. Supposedly it's very, very healthy. This is why it's such a big business, because they take the placenta. A lot of times mommies don't even take their stuff. Like, this is yours. Take that with you. The doctor, I remember him saying to me, is, why you want that? Because it's mine. And you take it. You are not to leave it with them. Even when they start saying sometimes, we got to do tests. Not on this one. Show me the law or what have that you have to take my body part and keep it with you for whatever it is you need to. I don't want to be a part of your study. So I remember them real looking at me with their eyes open. I'm like, I'm looking at you. Why you want to keep it? It must be a reason why you want to keep it. But I've later to find out that it's big, 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 big dollars and what they're doing. And because the placenta is so rich in nutrients that they're using this in different types of products and all kind of stuff that they're preserving other people with. This one lady said she did the placenta encapsulation. And you know how some women have postpartum depression or they go into this? This woman had placenta pills, her own, and she said it gave her an energy boost. She felt better. It was just like really amazing what people are doing with this. I didn't do it. I'm still a little, you know, I'm not all in. You know what I mean? I'm not all in with a lot of the stuff that's going on, but I will, you know, take it and keep it. And what I've done with my placentas is I did lots of affirmations, and I buried it. under a special tree. So Empress was a sister who never got the opportunity to have a vaginal birth. She had a baby shower for me, and she never knew what it was like to give birth vaginally naturally. So I let her be a part of my experience, and I I extended to her to help me partake in burying, Empress's placenta, and really was just amazing, and it was all in love and good intent. And so all my last children, I always found a tree or something, buried it deep. I've tried to work with the moon or full moon. Whatever I'm moved to do, I just do it, I don't really have a special thing. I'm always moved by whatever I feel inside of me, and I just go with that, and that's how I've always done things. Any questions? Any comments? You got another comment? They use it. They're using it. They try to find some fancy way that if they could say biohazard or we need to do tests or your iron was low, they make up stuff. I remember working with a mommy and they was like, you need to keep it. I told her, take your stuff. And that's what a doula does, empower, so they don't really try to get over it. You always got to question them back when they start hitting you with whatever they try to say, the magic of the wordplay, make you feel that they need to keep or do whatever it is that they intend to do. Again, don't get me wrong, you do have some special situations where some moms may be ingesting drugs, a lot of different stuff. Again, like I said, I'm not pro or anti this or that. I'm always for the safety of the mother, and the child, and her well-being is highly important. So whether you put your trust into the hospital or your midwife or whomever, just know before you go, and just take care of yourself. Because when you're, like I said, when you take care of yourself, you're in alignment. Islam, beloved, you had another comment? Oh, all right. I thought you raised your hand. Anybody else, anything that I said, that you have a question or you want to ask me? I do have some video. I have a video. It's not explicit. I always tell us, work within our higher self when we start to look at things, because people look at breastfeeding as just sexist, and it's baby got to eat. All right? Don't tell me to cover up anything when I'm doing that. I won't be just but you got to eat when you hungry, and nobody will tell you to put a blanket over your head when you want a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Like go in the bathroom. Nobody tells you. No, and so we have to move into a space where we're moving in light, because we are light, and we have to detach all of this nonsense. And so going back into breastfeeding is the most healthiest thing you can do, again, as long as you're taking care of yourself and everything to give your baby nurturing, the nutrients and everything like that. So but going back to what I was going to say in terms of doing things, is that my video is I did it when I wanted to produce the video. I put some type of attire on just to be, semi-modest, even though I didn't want to do that. But I just said, just in case you got some people saying, oh, my goodness, I was mindful. So I have a video on YouTube that I think I gave to the sister or the last time I was here, where I am showing women how to breathe through, not push. When they say push and you're screaming, your legs is open, all of this, stuff that they do and they tell us to do. Breathe. Stay in tune with who you are, be grounded, be centered. I'm in water, and when we're giving birth, the squatting position, so the gravity, going down, all that, put your legs up, backwards, do all of that. I really think that was some stuff somebody created with some foolishness going on with that. Put my legs up, I'm on my back, wait a minute now, but, this is what they got some of us with. But the video is really good because it has over about 12,000 views. People want to see. Women want to see something different, because we have this visual that you scream, you breaking stuff in the hospital, you knocking down, you doing all this stuff. That's not what it's about. And so my video is very quick. It's like a 5-minute video. I'm breathing, you know, and you can see the intensity that I'm going through the contractions, but I'm breathing, I'm staying grounded, and I'm birthing my baby, and I'm holding him, and I'm picking him up, and all of this, and I'm showing people the baby's not drowning, so let's debunk the myth, the baby going to drown in the water and all of this, you know, type of stuff, and it's a really good video. It's used internationally all over right now. With a couple of different midwives, they're showing it because it's an educational tool, you know, for women to be able to see what this thing is like with giving birth at home and in the water with a midwife. And so if you want to write it down, it's Urban Mother Initiator on YouTube. I know that's long. UMI, so it's Urban, URBAN, Mother, MOTHER, Initiator is INISHE, the number 8, TOR. You'll see a picture of a baby in green, which is Legend. He's wrapped with his placenta. I did that intentionally because it represents, you know, what I'm doing on the channel. You'll see a video of the birth. It'll say my first home birth, Legend's birth. You'll see a video I have on there, placenta care, how to wrap the placenta and do all of these great things. I also give videos on women, how to make your own perineum pads. You know, we got to get back into doing these things. We go to the store buying everything. We don't know what we inserting, what we putting, what we doing. We got to get back to using our herbs and getting in the kitchen, making our tea. Our kitchen is our lab. That's where all the work is supposed to be done. So whatever you need, you're supposed to be able to bring it into that space and make your concoction and do your stuff and handle your business. You don't got to go to the store and get, what's that stuff? I forget what they give you in the hospital after you had a baby. All kind of sprays and all this stuff has got chemicals in it. So you want to go as natural as possible. So I share that. My YouTube channel is very tribal, theme related. So you'll see my children doing their homeschooling. We're making smoothies and healing. Everything is in the kitchen. You'll see my son. He's sharing a video on how he used certain herbs from a spider bite. We don't go to the hospital. You know, we used our Kagan water, 9.5, sovereign silver, colloidal silver, cell food, chlorophyll, moringa, all of these different things I keep in my lab all the time. I walk around with a spray bottle of colloidal silver because we all should have it. You know, you don't need your first aid kit. Your first aid kit should consist of colloidal silver. It is a natural antibiotic that we should all have and be taking every day. Amazing stuff. Every woman that has called me in the past 2 weeks, I don't care what their issue was, they sprayed colloidal silver and made them use the bathroom, cleaned out their system, rid them of their constipation and all types of stuff. And I'm not a doctor and saying these things. I'm speaking on what I know. I wish I was able to get y'all up on this thing because you'll see the text messages like, Amala, thank you, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, because this one woman said, couldn't use the bathroom, and I'm doing all of this stuff, and I don't know what's going on with me, and I'm eating. And I said, you know what? This is what you need to do. I said, within 24 hours or less, you will go to the bathroom. And she texted me in the middle of the night and was like, girl, and then she already had the silver. She just never used it. Like, girl, give it to me. I'm going to put it to use. You got essential oils, I'll take them if you're not going to use them. So, pardon me? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. My brother here, no, we, you know, that's all. We colloidal silver. We keep it on deck.
What's your YouTube?
Urban Mother Initiator.
Oh, no, not that. The YouTube, you say you have a TV YouTube?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's Urban Mother.
Right, that's how you search for me, and it'll come up with all of my archive videos up there. You'll see a lot of, if it's easier, I have a website called earthretreat.com where you can create links. You can go to my blog talk radio show. I have so much, but Earth Retreat, which is EARTHS retreat.com. You'll see a picture of me and my tribe and all the children and all of that type of stuff. And it's a wealth of information there. You know, I do this because I love myself and I love my people. And so, like I said, I'm just charged with the responsibility. Once I got it, I have to do, you know, what I have to honor what I've been told to do with this information and with this knowledge, and continue to learn so that I can pass it on, to our sisters and to our brothers, so that way we can collectively uplift fallen humanity and get back into the fold of things. Islam, beloved, you have a question? Earth Retreat is my website, so it'll get you to my YouTube channel. It'll get you to if you want to purchase some essential oils, it'll get you to my Blog Talk radio show, which I'm not doing that right now, but I have over 100 and something shows where I'm dealing with empowerment, talking about all kind of stuff from marriage to counseling. My background, by the way, I've gone to school for social work, so I have a bachelor's and a master's in social work. I'm in school right now for my PhD in human services. I am a parent educator. I have my first aid and CPR. I'm always in the field finding new ways to advance myself and to create this plethora of a toolbox of information so that I can extend it out, to all of you. And I just continue to learn, from others around me. And part of me, I'm a magi warrior. Islam.
You said Earth Retreat?
Earth, EARTHS. Retreat.com. It's a purple website, and you'll see a picture, and this should come up. There you go.
Oh.
What are you getting? Wait a minute, let me see if you put it in.
Natural home care.
Oh, yeah, that is. I don't know. I've never seen that before. I just went on there. Yeah, check it out. I don't know, because I was just on there before I came, so who knows what's going on. But you'll be able to link me through that. What else? My number is area code 415. Let me see. Here. Pardon me? Oh, all right. Yes, so right there. Right. So right there is the birth. You see this one right here? Yeah. So just don't be standoffish. It's really not a bad, it's not a bad one. But that's the video. If you go on YouTube, you'll get to see all of that. And so anyway, as Annie E, don't put the number out there, but y'all go to the website. I'm very reachable, and all of that. So all you have to do is link me, email me. The earthretreat.com has all of my info. So just try it later on. When I'm finished, I'll go and make sure everything is up to par. Anything else? Y'all have any questions about, if you know a mom, anything that you want to take or something or whatever? I think I stated a lot of good greens and all of that stuff, some really good stuff to take. Eat good, fresh vegetables, fruits with seed. So that means you have to go and search. You're not going to get it at your local stores. You have to go to the farmer's market, and get your fruits with seeds. They got oranges without seeds, everything without seeds. So just know that ain't the real deal. Yeah, and be careful. Be careful of the bananas. There is something going on. I don't know how true it is, but just be careful with certain fruits. They was injecting it. Yeah. Yeah, so be very careful of where you purchase. They're going to attack us with the food, so just be careful choosing your fruits, because they're finding different ways to do certain things. So I say that to say, open your food up fully before you just go, like inspect it. You know what I mean? Like me, growing up and being a part of the Nation of Gods and Earth, that's one of the things that we do. Gelatin, they say no pork, but then they disguise it with something. And so we got to do the knowledge and learn the different wordplay that they use in terms of the ingredients. So just inspect your stuff.
Yes, I was McDonald's.
All right. Pardon me? Oh, yeah, right? This right here. Yes, it does. Anyway, but I like to keep that good energy. I actually just picked this up. This is for my maid. He said, babe, make sure you get me that unk. So before I got here, I had to get that, for him. Any questions, anything that's pending, on your mind? Islam, beloved? The birth plan. Absolutely. I'm going to, are you connected with Sister Annie Eve? Yes. So the copy of the birth plan, I'm going to get it over to her. She can disseminate it to all of you. It's generic, but it's great. I took the time out to put in all of the good stuff, the stuff that I would choose, and check off and not check off. And then there's a spot where your witnesses come in and so forth and so on. Anybody that you're going to have part of the plan, you want to do when you're birthing. Also, put other people down. Anybody you could think of that might be able or capable of making decisions on your behalf, identify them on your paperwork. So that way it's no cutting corners, because if you got one, you can't reach that one, we got somebody else. So just birthing plan is very important. Just like when you go and you put your children in school, how you send them sets the tone. If you just send them and you giving them up, here, take them, they will take them for you and do what they will. But when you go in, like myself, my children are homeschooled, but when I did try the school thing, I'm on point. My paperwork precedes me. Before I go in, I need them to know who I am and what we're about, because it's very important. Yes.
I want to share something with you since we're on that page. Your attribute now, is that from the nation of God and Earth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to share something with you since you were saying about the school thing, right?
Yes.
I have a daughter. She's 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you got to be hands-on with them. So she graduated the other day, and they also include me. You see what that say?
Yes.
So I'm there letting them know I'm setting the tone.
Right, right.
So they acknowledge that.
Wow. That's beautiful, Prince.
I'm saying they acknowledge me for being hands-on with her. And I go to the school, I interact with them. You know what I'm saying? Anytime there's a problem, they know they can call me. And anytime that they should need help around the school, they also know I'm there for them.
And let me say this. This is really big in terms of setting the tone, who you are, being involved. I remember the school thing and anything that I do. Before you go being in the defense, just be involved, showing up. When it comes to the school, you don't really have to be so worried about CPS, because the first thing is, if you're not involved, they don't know you, they looking at your paperwork, you don't have anything to show, whatever. When you have these type of things, you shut them down. And I always tell people, strive not to fight. Make your life easier, if you will. Our people have been induced with this calling, these people calling them on you. If I don't like this sister, I'm calling them on her. It's a way to deal with that. We don't have to be defensive. We could just simply state for the record who we are, what we're about. I don't need you. You don't have no business with me. Please go, and find somebody that really needs. No, I'm serious, please. And it's just really, there's some other serious issues going out here in the world that I feel that y'all need to attend to. But this situation right here, we're good. Oh, well, I just need to make sure that we're good and this, that, and the third. And, there's a way you go about it. Nowadays, people are backing off because they see, what's taking place. So just be at peace, be humble, intelligent tones, because that's who we are. We are people of peace. We stand for what? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So at the end of the day, when we walk into a room, people are supposed to not only see that, but feel that. When we speak, they don't even got a second guess, because they say, oh, I know, she ain't cussing, and because they expect, the woman like me to. I know that's right. They waiting for you to get the rah-rah, but you set them tone. How you doing today, sir? All right, yes, and you're here for what? No problem. And they don't got a big word. Just how you speak, eye contact. Yes, no problem, whatever. You good, I'm good. Keep it moving. The rah-rah stuff don't fly. You'll attract more of that when you sometimes want to give that. You don't really have to do that all the time. So anyway, I would like to humbly thank all of you all for just accepting me, allowing me to come here, because truly it's not about me, it's about us. I stand for us and everything that we do, everything that we are, who we were then is who we are now, the greatest of the great of humanity. And so any way that I can extend my knowledge to you, I am here for you. And I just thank you all for participating with me and making this experience that much more calm and pleasant and exciting and getting all this great energy. So just give yourselves a round of applause for listening to me for this time. Thank you so much. Peace and love to all of you. Annie E., do you have anything?
Right. Sister Mala. All right, well, guess what? That concludes tonight's class. So, are there anybody here for the first time? Anyone else? Just one person? All right.
Let me see one thing. Really quick, and I don't know if I said this, but stay in tune with earthytree.com. I have an ebook that's coming very soon that I'm going to have a link for pre-orders that is going to go a little bit more in depth over everything. I'm going to have a more structured about what to do, the pros and cons, a nice little pamphlet, for our mothers and their mates to be able to have. And I'll put in some different things, like I told you before, have experiences with CPS. So I'm going to put a couple of Jews in there, within the ebook. So just stay connected because it's coming very soon. You all will be able to pre-order that and have a copy within the next couple weeks.
All right.
All right.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're not going to be back next week because that's the 5th Wednesday, and then we're not going to be back the following Wednesday because that's the 1st Wednesday. Amala, you want to mute your phone? All right, so we check on, we're supposed to be back here the 2nd and the 3rd Wednesday of July. Thank you. That would be the 13th and the 20th of July. Make sure and check the rvbaypublications.com website to see if we're going to be here and what time we're going to be here. And also, if we're not here, we'll be broadcasting live. So you'll still get something for those Wednesdays that we're not physically here. So with that, who's going to do the invocation out? All right. All righty.
Everybody face east. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe. Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, injustice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. With Holy Prophet, so with Tuali, also known as Shady Sharif, Ali. Peace and love.
Peace and love. All right. You want to get your computer on the podium? All right.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more back to thinking, time for thinking.